My name's Hayden Johnson. I grew up in West Des Moines, so I went to Valley High School. And when I was there, that's when I took my first environmental science class. And that's kind of what started it all. It really opened my mind up to so many things I didn't know and how humans are affecting the environment. And I didn't want to be a part of that. I wanted to be a part of something that changed it. And now it's evolved into getting the kids excited and promoting wildlife and ecology starting at a young age, and that's my passion now. I went to Simpson College in Indianola, and I got a Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Science there. I-35 reached out to Amy and Jesse, and they wanted to do a program with some of their younger students throughout the school year that included a couple field trips out to the park here. And so I was just getting started working with them for a little bit at that time, and they asked me to kind of be in charge of the project, make programming for the kids, and lead that project and teach them all about Iowa's beautiful ecology. So it was a little bit of a learning curve for me because I had never really created my own programming before, but I mean, I had the background knowledge and stuff that I learned in college, so I kind of just would pick different themes. We kind of went on like the prairie and the natural habitats and how those are important for wildlife at all levels. So I did a lesson on macroinvertebrates for them, where they got to really get their hands in the dirt, and they had a lot of fun with that. I did a matching game in the winter where they got to learn about what different native species do in the winter, whether they stay or migrate or that sort of thing. Just the other day we went on a field trip and we went hiking, and they got to check out all the different kinds of trees. And so just a lot of hands-on learning and different activities every lesson. It was a really big group, so that was part of the challenge, was keeping 55 to 60 second graders all corralled and attention paying and all that stuff, but it was fun. They were a good group. Just so much excitement. They are so excited to be outside. That was actually the hardest time, is when we did our field trips, getting them to pay attention instead of just being excited and wanting to run around and look at everything, which is great. I think you'd want kids to go outside and be enthusiastic and wanting to explore everything around them. Just knowledge is really important. Without knowledge, you don't realize that things that we are doing right now are hurting the environment, and if we want to keep this to enjoy and explore and just find peace of mind, we can't do that even if we're hurting it. And those young minds are really a lot more passionate, and I see a lot of hope in them. And so they can get the older people who maybe were just like, oh, there's no hope, and they can get them going. So I see them as a way to get all the community and everyone involved in conservation work and sustainability and all that. I see the hope in the young kids, and I see it, I guess, outside. When you get outside in nature yourself, and you can find all these creatures that when we give them the opportunity, they can bounce back. And so just those little steps that everyone can take, we can progress so much further in conservation with the more people knowing about it and all those little things that everyone can do. Because there's a misconception that people really think it's too big, I can't do anything, that sort of stuff. You can find hope in the kids, and that they make it seem not so scary. Because if a child can, do actions, then what's our excuse? Why can't we do anything? They have all these great ideas. Why aren't we coming up with great ideas or getting our doing things in our free time to help protect? And yeah, just being outside and seeing those animals doing well after given the opportunity, that's a real beacon of hope as well. I think there tends to be some more open minds, but again, my age, I tend to see some people who just don't want to talk about it and kind of take on the mindset of their parents or something like that. But I do see a lot of people who want to know more, they want to learn, they think it's cool. I mean, they recognize that they enjoy spending time outside, and they don't want to lose that. So I think a lot of people can kind of come together on that concept of, we don't want to lose this amazing place that we can go take a walk or things like that. Yeah, so it was really fun just to see them. No matter what I was teaching them, they were ready to listen and ready to learn, and always hands going up, answers getting shouted out. they were ready to be a part of it. And towards the end of the project, I was at the school for a middle school event for the career day, and one of the kids was in the office, and he saw me and he got scared all of a sudden because he thought he was going to miss out on the field trip. He thought I was there for that. And he's like, oh no, that's tomorrow, it's okay. And so he was just seeing him recognize me and remember all the fun things we did through the school year and how he didn't want to miss out on that opportunity. I think it's really great to see the kids, you know, excited about things like that. And, you know, maybe they wouldn't have gotten to go on some field trips if we hadn't provided those programming for them. And maybe they wouldn't have been so excited to go on the field trip if they hadn't learned all these things about the great outdoors that I taught them over the school year.
I'm Amy Warnke, and I'm the Naturalist and Education Coordinator for Madison County Conservation. A lot of times I get the requests into our office from the different schools, the teachers, the parents, looking for field trips, looking for classroom programming, and then typically I get to go out and do a lot of that programming, but we've been very fortunate that we've had several interns that were able to work with us this last year. And so when Hayden said she was really excited about education, I was thinking, oh perfect, this is a great opportunity to get out there and get your feet wet and just get involved and, you know, get that experience in front of the kids. It was very successful in my opinion. So it's always really exciting when I'm just out walking on the streets and people in the community come up to me and say, hey, my kid came home and talked about this program, or hey, so and so was in my classroom, you know, and they did a great job. And so we got lots of that feedback when Hayden was doing that programming. So it was really awesome, and it was really great because this is a class that we've never worked with before at I-35, so it was an entirely new contact for us. When you're thinking about how do you get people to care about the future and how do you get people to connect with the future, you have to start thinking about, well, what motivates people to do what they do. So once you can kind of figure that out and you realize that people care about the things they know about, and then it makes it sense that, especially for kids, you have to teach them about these things from early on so that as they grow up, they care about the environment, they care about what kind of tree they plant in their yard, they care about what kind of bee they might see on the flower growing in their yard. So that's why we really have to focus on getting these young kids involved. I think that it's pretty obvious about how much help there is when you start doing programs or doing outreach in the community and you start seeing how many people come back to you year after year, or even they just see you walking down the street and they say, hey, I remember that time we did X. And so it's when you have those interactions, you start thinking, hey, what I said, what I did, it matters, because they're taking note. And so then you start thinking, well, what else can we do? What were those positive connections? How can I do that for the next group of people I come in contact with? We are extremely blessed here in Madison County because we have amazing natural resources. So we have the Middle River Water Trail that runs right through Pamela Park and goes on down the river to Middle River Park. We have hiking trails and miles of hiking trails, and we have good places if you like to be out mushrooming, if you like to be bird watching. We have all of those things. We're part of the Makoki Birding Trail here in Pamela Park. We have some of the oldest oak trees in the state of Iowa here. We have some of the most valuable walnut trees in the state of Iowa. So just from an ecological sense itself, if you want to get out and see the cool things that our natural resources has to offer, we are just a hot spot of it right here.
Maybe they wouldn't have gotten to go on some field trips if we hadn't provided those programming for them, and maybe they wouldn't have been so excited to go on the field trip if they hadn't learned all these things about the great outdoors that I taught them over the school year.